What if I told you that the hardest part of being pregnant in your 20s has nothing to do with morning sickness? If you're pregnant in your 20s, or thinking about becoming a mom, or simply just wondering if what you're feeling is normal, this video is for you. I reached out to several of my friends and asked them to share their honest truth about their pregnancies. The joys, the fears, the unexpected challenges, and also the lessons they learned along the way. While social media often shows the picture-perfect moment, there are so many conversations that never get talked about. My hope is that through these real stories, you'll feel seen, encouraged, and reminded that you're not alone. Every pregnancy is different and every story deserves to be told. So let's get into the real unfiltered truth about being pregnant in your 20s. When I asked my friends about their experiences, I noticed three themes that kept popping up. The loneliness that nobody talks about, the joy that just surpasses all understanding, and the expectations and stigmas that are placed on young mothers. One of the things that surprised me was how much loneliness kept popping up and how it's not being talked about. And it's not because these people didn't have people around them, but because pregnancy has a way of revealing who will truly be there for you. One of my close friends that's helped me so much throughout this pregnancy is Rayla Kelly, and she described her experience as friends just kind of disappearing or dwindling to the side. She said that she would experience feeling alone, but she knew deep down that if she was the one reaching out, it would result in a fake conversation. She knew that if these people really cared, they would be the ones reaching out first instead. She also noticed that the people that did kind of dwindle away, including family members, just popped back up right after the baby was born. One thing we discussed is how crazy it is that people think they can just walk back into your life as soon as you have a baby. And the reality is that's just not true. To quote what she said, losing people I thought that would be there for me was the hardest part, even family. But as soon as the baby was born, they started reaching out. Another thing that she went through was she was in a new marriage. So not only did she have to learn how to be a wife and also learning how to be in a marriage, she was also focusing on building up her and her husband's relationship to prepare for a baby, which can be very stressful. Hearing Rayla's story made me understand how common these feelings are. Another one of my close friends, Timber Rhodes, talked about how relationships do change when you find out you're pregnant. And she said her family's had opinions, quote, "I think a lot of people had their own opinions because I was young and it was difficult for me to navigate at the time." She also said one of her close friends really pulled away during that time, but recently they have reconnected, which is great. She states, "Overall, becoming a mom really showed me who would truly be there for me through every stage of life," which is so true, girl. I could relate to both parts of these women's stories. For me, however, it was a little bit different. Instead of noticing people kind of step away, I'm the one who stepped away. I chose to step away from specific people or just keep them at a surface level of friendship because I knew that I didn't want them directly in my baby's life. I feel like a ton of moms that go through this stage, especially since our instinct is to protect our baby and we're not just thinking about us anymore. I recently made a new friend at the gym, shout out Casey, who mentioned about going to Bible study, and I knew I hadn't been to Bible study in a couple weeks, so I took the opportunity to reconnect with females I knew that would love and encourage me. After attending Bible study, I knew I was protecting my peace from people who didn't align with my life anymore, and I now feel secure in my decisions. Pregnancy doesn't just grow a baby, it also changes your relationships, your priorities, and even the way you see yourself. But here's the beautiful part. Every single mom that I talked to, no matter how difficult her pregnancy was, they all said the same thing. It was worth it. Another one of my high school friends, Skyly Jackson, shared her experience with me, saying she had a very loving pregnancy, but around the third trimester, she experienced some preeclampsia, and she knew that God would give her the strength to power through. Even after being in a 31-hour labor with an epidural that didn't work properly, Skyly kept her eyes on the Lord and powered through. She states that meeting your little one for the first time will wash all of the worries you have been feeling as a first-time mom away. She has a beautiful baby boy and says that even though caring for a human can be overwhelming sometimes, you just have the mom instincts to know what to do. She says that she is blessed to be a stay-at-home mom and he is her greatest joy. It is hard being a mom, but don't let the hard outweigh the good. She also says there are days where she does get overstimulated and feel so convicted, but she just asks God to give her grace and patience, and God always shows up. Her story reminded me that even the painful moments can become some of our sweetest memories. Back to my friend Timber, she states, the best part of having my son has been realizing just how strong I really am. Becoming his mom has shown me a kind of love I never knew existed. Watching him grow, learn, and experience the world has brought me more joy than I could have ever imagined. He has completely changed my perspective on life and reminds me every day what truly matters. Another one of my really good friends that's also helped me a lot during this pregnancy is Samantha Pettis. Her story is a little bit different. She knew that she might go through some troubles based on her mother's experience getting pregnant, but 6 months after being married, she got pregnant with her miracle baby boy. She discussed that pregnancy was a breeze for her, but labor and delivery was a different story. And it was the closest to the Lord she had ever felt. And now she can confidently say, 19 months postpartum, that she was made for this. And I just have to quote what she wrote because it is so good. The way the Lord has shifted my perspective on everyday tasks and seeing the beauty in every little thing is truly life-giving. When my son is running around the house, causing utter chaos in the midst of toys piled and thrown throughout the house, I used to get frustrated that I couldn't keep up and keep everything tidy for when my husband came home from a 16, 17-hour day. And then one day, I'm again picking up toys around the house, and I feel the presence of God come over me, and the Lord just opened my eyes to see the mess as a blessing. Because somebody somewhere is desperately praying and yearning for the toys to be thrown about and to hear the cries of a newborn and to watch a baby grow up. And I couldn't help but feel so incredibly guilty for all the time I had taken a gift from the Lord for granted. The Lord handpicked me to be my son's mother, and what an honor it is to be his first home, his comfort, his peace, his everything. The way that I love my son and how I would do it absolutely anything and everything for him, no matter what, and how amazing it is that we have a Father in heaven that loves us even more than we could ever imagine. He sent his son to die in our place so that we may have life in him and experience his love. I can truly say my son is my own little touch of heaven, my angel, my gift. Listening to these beautiful ladies' stories and share their little glimpse of joy made me reflect on my own journey. So when I first found out I was pregnant, I didn't want to be. I was nervous, scared. Yes, I had been married for over a year, but we financially weren't ready and still aren't ready, to be honest with you, for a baby. Finances don't matter when it comes to fulfilling God's purpose for you. Now that I'm in my third trimester, I can look back and see that God is everywhere throughout my own story. I had health issues last year, and that filled me with worry to be able to carry a baby. But I have been so healthy and just found out today that I passed my glucose test, which tests for gestational diabetes. So, whoop, whoop, give a praise to the Lord. All of this and through my gallbladder issues last year has brought me closer to God and also taught me to trust in His timing because it all works out perfectly. So no, motherhood doesn't erase fear. It simply gives you something even greater to love and to look forward to. One thing I wish people understood is how many opinions pregnant women receive. So I actually met my friend Rayla at the gym, and I remember looking up to her for so long, but being so afraid to talk to her for no reason, and we didn't get close until really this year. She is such a great example of what a strong mother looks like, literally. So during her pregnancy, she did find out that she had some blood sugar issues, and it was hard to go to the gym. When your blood sugar drops, you really just can't do much, especially when you're pregnant. You're not supposed to, lift and exert yourself. So of course, with not being able to move as much or to do as many things, weight gain naturally comes throughout pregnancy anyways, but for her, she felt it in a different way. I love what she said here. In your 20s, you're still figuring yourself out, and when your body starts changing, you have to learn how to love your body, your husband, and your baby. Liberty also discussed, hey, I know we're on the phone, but this is editing Aaliyah, and I realized I never actually introduced Liberty to y'all. So this is Liberty Kelsey, and I also went to high school with her, and she has been so supportive during my pregnancy, and we're actually really close in pregnancy, so we're only like a couple days apart, which is insane.
But yeah, let's hear what she had to say.
That she experienced comments that would make your eyes twitch from either looking too big or even looking too small. But that's not the only scrutiny she's seen. So she did have a full-time job before she was pregnant, but due to her health, she had to leave. Even though she was struggling with her health, people still would say comments here and there about, well, what are you going to do financially? I've heard them plenty of times. Just like me, she went through a rough year last year, even rougher than anything I went through. And many of her health issues still have continued into pregnancy. Although she knows she's doing everything she can for herself and the baby, she still feels that guilt because society has taught us that if we aren't working, we're lazy. And that's just not true. But thankfully, she has an amazing husband that supports her and has received a great job, which is a blessing from the Lord that is keeping her home safe and healthy. She's also stated that she's felt God move differently in her life. She says, "This baby is nothing short of a miracle and a blessing. I felt so much closer to him knowing that this was his plan, knowing this baby was made in his image. It's such a surreal feeling and experience. I've been so grateful and extremely blessed." Her story shows that every pregnancy looks different. Back to my friend Timber, she experienced an unexpected pregnancy and received comments from people because of it. After finding out, of course, she had some family that was disappointed and concerned for her. I knew that most of the moms I talked to didn't have a full-time job, so I wanted to take this opportunity to ask her specifically what it was like to have a career and a baby. She said, "As for working full-time, it's never easy being away from my son, and there are days when it's hard, but I've learned that being a working mom doesn't make you any less of a good mom. It just means I'm working hard to give him the best life possible, and I have found a balance that allows me to be fully present with him when we're together." Hey, I know I ain't got no makeup on and I probably scared you, but this is editing Aaliyah again. I wanted to take the time to show you a different perspective on a full-time working mother. So this is my friend Honesty, and I ran into her at Walmart the other day. I knew she had just kind of returned back to work after having her baby a couple months ago. And so I really wanted to hear her side of things. So this is what she said. "Really just the working full-time thing was all and is I worry about and dislike so much. I try to have balance, but it can be hard trying to make time for everything being a mom. It's very hard hearing about things I miss while I'm at work, but at the same time, I love that people love my baby enough to be with her and see it and be as excited as I am." Sorry, I'm struggling. I just woke up. And one thing she wanted you to remember is cherish it all, because it really does go by fast. I as well have experienced some scrutiny and the stigmas around being pregnant. So yes, I'm still financially worried about our daughter. I've mentioned that I don't work a full-time job, but I'm doing what I can where I can. I build my own schedule right now, and I know a few months after she's born, she can actually come to work with me, which is amazing and such a blessing. But on the other end, the comments I've received are ridiculous, y'all. Oh my god. So on my Instagram account, I've posted this video about trying to pose like a bodybuilder while pregnant, basically, and comparing it to whenever I was at like my skinniest before, found out I was pregnant. And one of the comments that was left, and I quote, "I'm sorry, but you look obese, not pregnant." And so I was like, okay, this is ridiculous, first of all. Didn't respond, of course. I'm not going to waste my energy on that. So I was like, let me make a TikTok about this and ask other females what crazy comments they have received. And I kid you not, every single one of the females in my comment section was all about either they didn't look pregnant enough or they looked too pregnant and they were overweight. And it blows my mind that not only as women do we experience a certain criteria we have to uphold when we're not pregnant, but now there's a criteria for when we are pregnant. So I've been told that I don't even look pregnant, which it doesn't bother me. I'm like, it is what it is. I wear big t-shirts even when I'm not pregnant. But I've also been told on the other end, I look obese. And so it's like, I don't know, it's really sad because it's like you can't even be happy that you're bringing a baby in. Like, I know some people, it really hurts them. It really does make me so mad because there is not one way to be pregnant. There isn't one right type of body to be pregnant in, and there isn't one career path for pregnant women. And there certainly isn't one perfect timeline either. If you've made it this far, I hope you realize one thing. You are not alone. Here are some words of encouragement from the women I've mentioned previously. From Rayla. "You are about to experience the most love in the entire world you'll ever be able to feel. Different from the love of your partner or your dog. Think about all that love you have for your baby now, and then think about how much God must love us. We only have a sliver of His love, and it's the closest thing we can experience, but He loves us so much more. Don't let people tell you that you need to do anything more than being a mom, because it is enough. If you feel like you're drowning, pray. From Timber. If I could give one piece of advice, it would be this. No matter what life throws at you, whether it's unexpected circumstances, self-doubt, or people's opinions, you are so much stronger than you think. There will be moments when you question yourself, but somehow you will always find joy to make it through it. Trust yourself, give yourself grace, and remember that no one will ever love your baby the way you do. That love will carry you through it, even the hardest days. From Skyly. You're never alone in your season as a mom, and if you ever struggle, please don't be afraid to reach out to someone. You matter, and if you're not okay, then your baby won't be either. Motherhood is beautiful, tiring, challenging, and a ministry. God is with you and for you. He sees you when you feel drained and burned out. Being a mom is the biggest blessing, and I couldn't thank God enough for entrusting me with my little one. I have no idea how I ever did life before him. If you're watching this while pregnant or thinking about getting pregnant, I hope these stories reminded you that you are not alone and everyone's journey is different. Some seasons will feel lonely. Some will be joyful. Some will stretch you in ways that you have never expected. Literally. But every part of your story matters. Thank you to every one of my friends who trusted me with their experiences. I know your words are going to help another mom just like myself who needs to hear them today. If this video encouraged you, I'd love for you to leave your own story down below in the comments or share advice that you would like to give. You never know whose life your words could impact. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye! Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And here are all the ladies that I talked about in this video. Their socials will also be linked below.